afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have a story to tell. It's a story about 11 students, one expedition leader, one teacher, on one island for 1 month. But it's also a story about challenging yourself and realizing that with these uncertainties and difficulties come beauty and great experiences. When I first heard of World Challenge Madagascar, the only word that really left an impression in my head was challenge. The students from Malawi came back with stories about the cold, the rain, and the fatigue. But I was excited at the prospects of doing something that many people have not done before. And I decided to sign the form, and I went. In the end, hiking was surprisingly the highlight of the trip. Andrea National Park was a beautiful place. The rolling plateaus and the sharp granite cliffs merged together to create this artistic contrast. We spent 1 week climbing Point Bobi in Andrea, which was the highest non-technical peak in the whole country. The climb was challenging. The rock faces were small, steep, slippery, and 4 hours of pretty much almost vertical uphill was dedicated to this final ascent. But then we reached the top. The horizon was below our feet, and I could see everything below us. And my first impression was, wow, I actually felt like I achieved something, and that everything I did to get up there on that mountain was worth it. I felt the exhilaration one would feel after running like 1,000 miles. Initially, the word challenge in my mind was really only that of pushing yourself to your physical boundaries. But during the trip, I later realized that this was obviously not the case, and I was in Madagascar to do more than just climb a mountain. I first felt the exasperation of being on our own when we landed at the airport. Nothing was pre-booked, and I wasn't really scared, but I was worried that something would go wrong. Of course, something inevitably did go wrong. I was a leader, and I forgot to charge the team phone, which eventually ran out of battery in my hand. Our airplane could not land because of bad weather, and if I did not make several phone calls, we would have had to sleep in the airport that night. I was shocked that I could let the team down with such a silly mistake, but I desperately tried everything from asking the airline whether they could unload the luggage, or I even cheaply unplugged someone else's phone from its charger while it was lying in the airport and no one was looking. Of course, when this all was resolved, I felt good. Not the kind of good you would expect to feel after climbing a mountain, but the satisfaction knowing that whatever mistake you made, it's not a mistake anymore, and that you solved a problem. The thing is, on these trips, things go wrong, but we learn from our mistakes and we don't repeat them again. I just believe that a trip that goes 100% smoothly without any bumps will never teach us such important lessons or even leave such a mark in our memory. Madagascar, being a previous French colony, did not make any of this problem solving easier for us. I was one of the few who could handle a conversation in French, and I did some translating and communicating. It was basically a dose of the real world. Of course, again, there are no shortages of miscommunication. Once I spent an hour discussing some unconfirmed trip with a taxi driver who seemed a little overeager to receive business. The next day, we found out we could not go, but the driver was there with the taxi and demanded money for the time wasted. When I think back, sometimes I feel guilty and that it's all my fault because I was the one discussing this trip with him. But then, hey, it's part of learning. We all make mistakes. Nevertheless, most of the time, this language barrier wasn't a limitation or an adversary. It made the trip a great linguistic experience, and I got to use my French. Another thing, the trip was a month-long date with dirt. I had around 4 hot showers, maybe a couple more cold ones, and when we could not shower, we had to make do with what we had. Like most of my teammates, I had no idea how to hand wash clothes. The children at Akani Voco, which was a children's center we visited, would laugh at us as we tried to scrape off the dirt with our nails. And whenever we showed up with the laundry basket, they could not stand us seeing us do something like this so stupidly, and they actually took the basket and washed our clothes for us, despite what we said. I was definitely humiliated, and I felt really idiotic. In the end, no one wanted to leave. I wanted my bed and my bathroom, and pretty much the list goes on. But I realized that if I left, then chances are I would not come back. There would be no clear blue sky waiting for us at home. There would be no baobab tree solitary standing beside the dirt road. There would be no children from Akani and Voko running to greet us at the airport. And this is Kevin, by the way. And perhaps most importantly, all 13 of us, we had fun together. I can assure you that the trip was not a breeze. I did not have YouTube to keep me company, and except for my iPhone and 4 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, I was pretty much disconnected with the whole world. What I'm really trying to say here is that you should all go out there and try something new and challenge yourself. Because you'll learn new things, you'll try new things, and you'll love the experience no matter what. As Hannah Montana says, life's a climb, but the view is great. Thanks.